Back here on the YouTube home of the Academy Hockey Club, the first ever Post-Ohio District Tournament. And it's a battle of the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League Gold Division with the Troy Trojans and the La Salle Lancers set to duel from the NTPRD Chiller in Springfield, Ohio. This is Lee W. Mowen and Kent Jacobs is to my left. And we're about ready to start this game. Both teams are 0 for 2 in their first games in the pod. The Lancers fell to Beaver Creek 4-2 in a very close competitive game, and then fell to the JV Stealth by a 6-3 margin. Troy fell 11-1 to Indian Hill, and then 14-0 to the Alternites earlier today. It's been a rough go for the Trojans, but the nice news is for Troy is that almost everyone is back. That includes Zach Uhlenbrock, Jack McGuirk, and also there was one more. I believe Austin Strong and Mike McGuirk. They are back in their second game in the pod. The only one not back is Ian Kuntz. Kuntz is a scratch for this contest. And if you've never seen Kuntz play Trojan hockey, missed out on a great player. He made the Trojan offense go very smooth with the puck, very quick as well, and very aggressive. As now we'll see Luke Ernie, the alternate captain for the Lancers, take on Zach Uhlenbrock, one of two captains on Troy's squad. Phil Knoll, the head coach of the Trojans, and Murray Holland, head coach of the Lancers. And we're underway as the Trojans back in the traveling reds and La Salle in the home whites. A lighter shade of red on La Salle's jerseys. It's a brighter shade of red. How weird is it? We have two games for La Salle back-to-back where the red shades on both teams are different. Looking, there's a shot forced down save. That was Jack McGuirk. Jack McGuirk, that's a big body and very, very strong. Now back 30 seconds into this contest. 0-0. Jack McGuirk around the corner looking back. Zach Uhlenbrock and pushed forward by Finn V. Here's Luke Ernie on the attack. Ernie rolls towards the left. Pushed forward by Mike McGuirk, the younger brother to Jack McGuirk. And Finn V drops it back. Uhlenbrock will intercept it by the Blue Jackets logo. And go golfing in the right corner. Here comes Benjamin Grimm sweeping it back. A 1-on-1 battle in the right corner as La Salle heading up the ice, rolling against Scott Riedel. And Forrest Adams patrols this net as the Trojans march downward. That's flicked wide by Connor Sexton as blank opposite of Garrett Paff. Paff did a very nice job taking over the faceoffs earlier this morning. Big shoes to fill, and the sophomore speedy winger certainly did an admirable job. Now back for body of Troy's Caden Mathis. Now for Benjamin Grimm working the right wing. 1.5 gone from the first period, and La Salle and Troy are scoreless. This was the game you might have expected to play in the title game, but the Trojans were upset by the Mason Comets and set up La Salle Mason for the title game. And that was a La Salle win, and La Salle's first championship game, and first championship hoisting of the trophy in ice hockey. Very big year for La Salle, much improved from last season. 9 will graduate this spring. 2 minutes gone from the first 0-0 game. Back around the right corner, there's a check on the back of, looks like that's Mathis, as he'll exit, his shift done for Troy. And back this way, La Salle trying to recover it. Holland waiting in the slot as it's pushed by Nathan Scharf. Scharf trying to go for Cahurl, who's flatlined by Jack McGuirk. That's the strength I was talking about, Jack McGuirk. Barely bats an eyelash. Very physical on the ice. Slipping through is Austin Strong. Strong from the left corner, trying to find Connor Sexton. Good start for the Trojan offense. They have attacked Forrest Adams in the back line of La Salle. Now back towards the point. Delayed penalty. Mike McGuirk trying to send it on target. It will be a Trojan power play. And here comes cross-checking. 12:15 to go in the first period. 0-0. And I believe that's our first cross-checking call of the tournament. Cahurl will go in the box for 2. And Troy has a 5-on-4. We have a 0-0 game. 12:15 to go in the first here on the Academy Hockey Club YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us in the first pod tournament. In the box went Philip Cahurl, and Luke Ernie will now take the place of Zach Uhlenbrock, who spins around, recenters the skates, and finds left winger Caden Lombardo. Stopped by Grant Garrity, one of the two alternate captains, the only one on this squad here at the pod. And scoop forward. Here's Captain Matthew Miller. Matthew Miller, a shot measured up and knocked down by Scott Riedel. Both teams with one goalie. It's Scott Riedel for Troy, opposite Forrest Adams. There is an emergency goalie for La Salle. It is Adam Wiley. And he is not scratched on the scoreboard, or the score sheet, I should say. There's a save by Riedel, and down this way comes Troy's La Salle, pickpocketing the body of Caden Lombardo. Back towards the left. Mike McGuirk goes forward on the bounce. 1:30 to go on the power play. 11:42 to go in the first. La Salle and Troy are scoreless. Both teams looking for their first win in the Post-Ohio District Tournament. Stopped by Forrest Adams. Here's Luke Ernie off the boards, controlled by Mike McGuirk. And chipped away by Matthew Miller. Engstrom, left wing, pulls up to the circle and blocked before it gets to Scott Riedel. 1:05 to go in the power play. Attacking the house of Scott Riedel. Loose puck back to Garrett Engstrom. Working that near corner. Drop back for Dyer. Here's Zachary Dyer. Dyer can score, but that time he'll hit off a couple of Trojan chests. And back this way, here's a save by Riedel on the attempt by Matthew Miller. He dons the captaincy for the Lancers. 4 minutes into the first, no score, 44 seconds to go on the power play for the Troy Trojans. Here comes Dyer, a one-timer. It's gloved and at the chest level of Scott Riedel. 10:50 to go in the first period. 36 seconds left on the power play. Cahuro came in for a cross-check. And it's a 0-0 affair here from the NTPRD Chiller in Springfield. That's short for National Trail Parks and Recreation Department. National Trail, of course, being U.S. Route 40, National Road. As Marshall Mark spins, turns around, and scoops it up. And now here come the Trojans. It's a compacted 3-on-2 and drop towards the left corner. 27 seconds left on the Cahuro cross check. Now it's Holland. Holland, zone, pushes it forward. Merck back to Holland. Great feed. And Holland working some open ice on the other side. It'll slip past the hip check of Carson Waite. Dropped in the left corner. Trying to swing it around the cage. And backpedaled! It's a goal for Eric Holland, a shorthander goal. And La Salle has taken a 1-0 lead with 8 seconds left on the Trojans power play with 10:23 to go in the first period. Eric Holland, great job circling the cage, got around a hip check from Carson Waite, and then dropped it in the right face-off circle and fires it on home for our first goal of the game. There's still 8 seconds left on the Trojan power play with 10:23 to go in the first period. Lancers, the home team, up on Troy 1-0. And for Troy, that is now the 26th goal given up on the pod tournament. As the Trojans have given up 11 to Indian Hill, scored 1 against the Rangers as the power play is done, and given up 14 to Alter this morning. There's a shot and glove stopped by Scott Riedel. By the way, in that Alter loss for the Trojans, they were without Zach Eulenbrock and Jack McGuirk. Both captains were out, so Grant Garrity had to take the reins. Ian Kuntz was a scratch as well. But the Trojans did get Austin Strong and Mike McGuirk back, which is a solid piece on that back line for the Trojans. Marshall Merck took that face-off for La Salle as the Lancers rolling to a 1-0 lead 5 minutes into the first. It's Eric Holland, the shorthander goal from Marshall Merck. Back this way, it's stopped by Garrett Engstrom. Engstrom turning around by the La Salle bench, cutting it towards the right. Past the back of one Adam Wiley. It's great to see Adam Wiley back out there. He was the one that suffered that scary hit. And also, Fletcher Pollitt was protecting his teammate. However, Wiley mentioned it himself. He went down on his leg. His ankle didn't turn. His body did. 9.5 to go. Here's Engstrom to the house, and he sends it wide. Scooped up by Connor Blank at the left point. And moved around by Zach Eulenbrock, heading towards the neutral zone. Quick pick up by the blue by Dyer. He'll send it wide left of the cage with 9:14 to play in the first. And a 1-0 lead for La Salle. It's a shorthander goal. Troy 0 for 1 on the power plays. And now it's picked up by Grant Garrity, the alternate captain for the Trojans. The Miami County team. 9 to play in the first. 6 minutes gone. 1-0 La Salle. It's Holland from Merck. Eulenbrock, a nice no-look pass. However, that's Garrett Engstrom. Could not complete it to Caden Lombardo. Here's Engstrom trying to curve it around. Sent back in by Troy. There's a shot and stopped by Forrest Adams. It went wide as Dyer looks for Engstrom. Looking to work the 444 route. Back around the right corner. Troy on the attack. Here comes the speedy Garrett Paff. Paff looks for Mathis on the other side with 8:32 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Lancers your score. Off the shorthander goal from Eric Holland. Assist for Marshall Merck. Back around the other side. Here's Matthew Miller. Bopping it forward. Here comes Paff. Now sent around the corner. A second Trojan looks to meet up with the speedy captain Matthew Miller. Off the backside. Now here comes Dyer. Dyer 1-on-1. Breaks away. Sweeps around the defender. Dyer to the house. And he scores and crashes into the net himself. Sorry to say that's not worth double goals, but Zachary Dyer scores, and it's 2-0 LaSalle. 8:05 to go in the first period. I don't think I've ever seen a goal where the puck goes in and so does the goal scorer. I think that's a first for yours truly. As now that's Zachary Dyer scoring. That is two defenders getting on the board. I mentioned that Dyer and Garrett Engstrom can do that for LaSalle. So can Eric Holland. He scored a shorthander goal with a nice feed from Marshall Merck. 2-0 Troy is trailing. And LaSalle back with it. As LaSalle is taking a 2-0 lead. 7:57 to go in the first. Goals by one Eric Holland and one Zachary Dyer. The assist goes to Luke Ernie. Ernie gets an assist. And down this way, here comes Zach Eulenbrock. Shot into the glove of Forrest Adams and back out as the captain Eulenbrock continues to battle down low. I mentioned last night that Eulenbrock had the lone goal against Indian Hill. I think Eulenbrock does a very nice job as the captain. He has an older brother, Nate Eulenbrock. As here's Matthew Miller. And the one-timer tipped on home. LaSalle has taken a 3-0 lead with 7:24 to go. And I think that was Luke Ernie finishing the job. What looked to be a 2-on-1 pass. Here comes a third Lancer to finish it off. 3-0 LaSalle. Great start for the Lancers. That ties the most goals scored by the Lancer offense in this pod tournament. They scored 3 against the Stealth JV and scored 2 against a very stingy Beaver Creek defense. Face off center ice across the Blue Jackets logo. Span around the circle. I was about to say Zach Eulenbrock's older brother, Nate Eulenbrock, a great Trojan for the hockey team, but now playing golf with the Miami University Hamilton Harriers. Back this way, they're members of the Ohio Regional Campus Conference. That goes high by LaSalle. 7:07 to go in the first, and the Lancers rolling to a 3-0 lead. Back around the left corner, drop in the slot, no one there to finish. And heading back out, here's Eric Holland. The closest Trojan is Caden Mathis. I remember some of the Trojans told me that Caden Mathis has the nickname of Mattress, but once I said it on the Frozen Creek broadcast, like, stop calling me Mattress, so I stopped. Forrest Adams covers up the puck, except that time, but that was to tell the story, I promise. 6:47 to go in the first. Mathis has made a nice impact in his first year with the Trojans. And now we'll drop as Forrest Adams recovers the stop. That's Luke Ernie from Matthew Miller, second assist, second point for the captain, and Michael Klisham. Shot does not get to Forrest Adams. It's intercepted by Cahurl. Here comes Cahurl. It is a 3-on-3 back this way and a drop into the right corner. Skylar Adams coming in, but it's picked off by Zach Eulenbrock. Behind the back of Eulenbrock and controlled on the other side. Sweeping past Jack McGuirk. Now towards the slot, slowed down by Merck. And now here's Skylar Adams. Bulging on through behind the goal line. 6:18 to go in the first. 3-0. LaSalle's your score. 3 Lancers scored. Delayed penalty, and Troy's heading to the penalty box as Skylar Adams took a check that was a little bit too rough. And the 2 stripes will talk it over normally. LaSalle will put Luke Ernie back on the ice, and that is Jack McGuirk in the box. And Jack McGuirk will sit a little bit. 3-0 LaSalle, and the Lancers have their first power play of the game with 6:13 to go in the first. It is a minor infraction against Jack McGuirk, the older brother from Mike McGuirk. Mike McGuirk's first year with the Troy Trojans hockey program. And now a face-off towards the left of Scott Riedel. Luke Ernie took that face-off, moving forward. Here's Dyer. Dyer send in, bounces away from Riedel. It's interference on Jack McGuirk. That's why he's sitting in the box. Dyer sends it in, blocked by Troy. Moving it slowly down this way. That's Zach Eulenbrock. Here comes a golf, and Forrest Adams went for it. It looked like he made that catch. It must have gone awry as Dyer now working behind the cage of Forrest Adams. And Matthew Miller comes up with it. 1:32 to go on the power play. And a 3-0 LaSalle lead with 5:40 to go in the first. Ernie now, left wing, rolling it forward. Left face-off circle time for Ernie. Ernie trying to go top shelf. That goes off the glass. Picked up by LaSalle around the right corner with 5.5 to go in the first. 3-0 Lancers your score. A pass doubling over, and the Lancers have to go back in their own zone to recoup. Garrett Engstrom. 3 Lancers towards the right, 2 towards the left. Alrica Clisham and cleared away by the Trojans PK. Halfway through LaSalle's first power play. 3 goals scored by LaSalle, 1 a shorthander, and it's 3-0 Lancers over Troy. There is a stick that is stuck in between the locker room door. It's the first time it's happened here at the Chiller. Sometimes it happens at South Metro. By the way, thanks to Nick Poe and South Metro Sportsplex for allowing us to use the gear for this pod tournament. There's a collision in the slot, knocking down Connor Sexton as LaSalle drops it in. Here comes Rayner, sending it wide right, 31 seconds to go on the power play. Score! LaSalle finishes it off against Scott Riedel, and that power play takes a minute and a half to work for the Lancers, who now go on top 4-0 with 4:42 to go in the first. 4-0 LaSalle, your score, and a power play goal tacked on by the Lancers. And the Lancers are rolling deep to start off period number 1. Marshall Merck comes in, takes the center ice face-off. Opposite of, I think that's Garrett Paff again. And Paff did take it. Now back to left winger Austin Strong. Actually, that was Caden Mathis on the left wing. Here's Lombardo, right corner, to play in the first. LaSalle just scored a power play goal. It's Luke Ernie. Ernie gets the power play goal from Nolan Rayner. Rayner had the initial shot down low. Path bumped away by Alex Ryan. There's a shot just trickling wide. Caden Lombardo, a nice touch. But here's Path. Path now on the curling target. And Lombardo knocked down as Merck. Merck takes it himself. Delayed offside LaSalle. And the referee taken down after the whistle. It was not on purpose. Two just collided. 4 to play in the first. 4-0 LaSalle your score. And the referee just shakes the snow off his pants. I think that was me reffing. I would have still been out there. But then again, you have to skate to be out there. And I can't, so there you go. Neutral zone face-off as Marshall Merck takes it. Retrieved by Austin Strong. Again, former wingman for the Trojans, but this year has helped out the defensive cause and done a nice job. It's not easy to drop back on positions. That shot saved from Holland at the right point by Scott Riedel, a senior for Troy. And a delayed penalty as Holland's knocked down. And Holland is in some type of pain. It's a high stick call, and LaSalle will have another power play. The trainer about a quarter of the way out. Holland shook it off. It looked like he might have got hit in the face with a high stick. And it's going to be a power play on the way for the Lancers, who just scored 1:30 into their first 5-on-4. Luke Ernie did. And it's going to be Zach Eulenbrock to the box for the high stick. It is LaSalle 4, Troy 0. 3:37 and rolling to go in the first as Forrest Adams battling Scott Riedel. This is Lee W. Mound here. And Eulenbrock does go in the box. Here's Ernie down low, swept away as Riedel collapsed on top of it. But back to Dyer. It's poked away. Here comes Sexton. Sexton down the right wing. Here's Sexton, a shot. And off of Forrest Adams. It's a goal for Connor Sexton. Shorthander goal for Connor Sexton. It looked like it was not going to cross. And it hits off the backside of Forrest Adams. And it does trickle past the goal line. The refs are explaining it. And it will be a Trojan shorthander goal. LaSalle 4 and Troy 1. 3:15 to go in the first.
Yeah, the puck off of Adams and off the goalpost and off Adams' backside, and it just barely a little bit of the puck crossed the line for the tally.
1:35 remains on LaSalle's second power play. Sexton has an unassisted shorthander goal. Here's Matthew Miller, a power play goal for the captain, and it's 5-1 LaSalle. 1:28 was left on the power play. That took 32 seconds, and in that power play we see a Trojan goal and a LaSalle goal. 5-1 Lancers. Matthew Miller scores. And we've seen 6 goals in the span of nearly 12 minutes here at the NTPRD Chiller.
That's tough on Troy to finally get on the board and then turn right around and get one back up.
They mentioned in sports that once you score, your most vulnerable time as a goalie is about the first 30 seconds after the goal's given up, because you're settling back in. You might be on the celebrating side, you might be on the side that gave up the goal, but then you have to go back, and there's a shot. I thought Riedel had it underneath, but it's back to LaSalle. We're back to 5-on-5. Another power play goal for the Lancers. They're 2 for 2 in that category, and that's off the protective net with 2:52 to go in the first as LaSalle leads Troy 5-1. That power play goal, Matthew Miller scores. He gets a little help from his friends in Alex Ryan and Luke Ernie. I believe Ernie is a playmaker in this game. I believe that's his 3rd assist. That's his 3rd point at least, if I'm off by 1 assist. 5-1 LaSalle, your score, 2:52 to go in the opening frame. We'll have an ice cut in the second intermission. We got this game started about a minute early. You're supposed to start at 7. We've been doing quite well on timing here in the first annual pod tournament, the Post-Ohio Districts tournament. Push forward, now giving chase. That's going to be Cahurl. It's chipped away by Troy's Austin Strong. Now around the right corner it goes, scooped up by the Lancers of LaSalle. It is Engstrom, turnover, Mathis, and a shot by Path off the chest of Alex Ryan. Ryan takes it away from Engstrom, works the right wing with 2:15 to play in the first. 5-1 Lancers, back to Engstrom. Engstrom, and tapped on home, score! Lancers now lead 6-1 with 2:11 to go in the first. Great passing work by LaSalle as Engstrom found his target towards the left, and it's buried on home after the pass. Lancers have exploded. They have doubled their high in goals in this pod tournament with 6 just in the first period alone. Engstrom will get an assist. The defensive Lancer will, as Cahurl back for the faceoff behind the back of Eulenbrock and pushed forward across the Blue Jackets flag, and offside went LaSalle with 2:06 to go in the first. Lancers score again. It's 7 goals now in about 13 minutes. Give it for Nathan Scharf. Nathan Scharf scores, assists for Garrett Engstrom, and also Skylar Adams. 5-goal lead for the Lancers. 6-1, 2 to play in the first, here on the YouTube home of the Academy Hockey Club. First annual Post-Ohio District Tournament, giving these players a chance to play their last games as seniors in competitive matches. That goes high off the stick of Dyer. And around the left corner it goes as Skylar Adams unleashes a pass in the slot. And scooped up by Troy. Down this way come the Trojans. That's popped up as Jack McGuirk pushes it forward. Dyer now for Scharf. Scharf just scored that 6th LaSalle goal. Spun around by Mike McGuirk. The two will tangle up by the left corner. There's Scharf knocked down, and here comes Troy out of the goal crease and pushing forward on the attack. That's Captain Eulenbrock going for Sexton. Sexton, a shorthanded, unassisted goal to give the Trojans their first goal of the game. And that bounced off Forrest Adams, the goal post, and back off Forrest Adams. That shot will bounce off possibly Eulenbrock as we enter our last minute of the first period. LaSalle 6 and Troy 1. Down this way, here comes Engstrom. Engstrom trying to wrap it around the cage. 46 seconds left in the first. Delayed penalty on the way. And the whistles will blow, and we'll have another power play. And it looks like holding is the call. Another power play on tap here at the PRD Chiller as LaSalle leads Troy 6-1. Someone's going in the box. That looks to be Jack McGuirk for the hold. And LaSalle up by 5 and 2 for 2 on the power plays while allowing one shorthander goal back on the extra skater advantage. Some of the Dayton Stealth team who came off a very exciting 3-2 win over the Indian Hill JV Rangers. That's the team that'll take on Beaver Creek next. They're watching this game from the right corner. I can tell by Patrick Gallagher's Irish-style hat. It's like his dad wears. He's at Newark watching the younger Gallagher in a youth hockey tournament. Down this way, it's cleared away, and the arms stretch out by the referee as LaSalle picks it back up. Forced down the net for LaSalle. Turnover as Garrett Paff slides forward and is stopped by Forrest Adams. Here's Blank. Blank turns around. Paff will give chase. Garrett Paff quick with the skates. And a pass drop towards the right winger for Marshall Merck. He'll drop it towards the corner, and that's it for 15 minutes of play. We have a 6-1 LaSalle lead after the first period. 1:17 remains on the Lancers power play, and both teams head to the benches to cool off. Kent, your thoughts on period number 1?
Well, I thought the Trojans seemed to get off to a good start. They were playing very competitively in the early minutes of this first period, but certainly the last half of the period kind of drifting back into the what we've seen the first couple of games they've played, where they've just been overmatched physically, and despite scoring a goal, they turn right around and give a couple right back, and just unable to sustain an offensive attack, and they're also not forechecking very well. They're not helping their goaltender Riedel out by keeping LaSalle players out from right in front of the net and charging to the net. They're not playing defensively very, very well, but again, they're physically, it appears, kind of overmatched, and that hurts them.
Center ice face-off over the Columbus Blue Jackets logo, part of the Chiller franchise. That's a series of rinks in Columbus, mostly northern part of the city. You have the Easton Chiller, the Dublin Chiller, Chiller North, and the Ohio Health Ice House is part of the Chiller family, I believe, which is the little practice rink at Nationwide Arena, home of the NHL Blue Jackets, which Columbus suffered a 4-0 loss to Edmonton. If you know the Oilers' struggles as of late, that loss is kind of bad. 1:09 to go in the power play for LaSalle with 14:49 to go in the second. Forrest Adams and the Lancers now roll down the ice, and Scott Riedel and the Trojans now attack upwards. 7 goals in the first frame as the Trojans in the darker shade of red jerseys. That's their traveling reds with the white numbers. LaSalle in the home whites with the lighter shade of red, and LaSalle across the chest. Those are brand new for the Lancers. Down the left. Push forward. It's behind the back of Michael Clisham. Checked in by Zach Uhlenbrock. And Uhlenbrock going for it. Here's a shot. Nice save. Shoulder level by Scott Riedel. Riedel measures that quite well with 14:18 to go in the second and 35 seconds left on the penalty on Jack McGuirk. It's 6-1 LaSalle here at the Springfield Chiller. Wonderful facility. Although, saying as someone that's visited the Chillers before, it is weird not to have 2 sheets of ice. Most Chillers, you have 1 sheet, and then you can walk across the mezzanine, and there's just another sheet waiting for you. Watch a lot of hockey that way. Jammed up in the neutral zone. Finn V, now Alex Ryan turning around. Alex Ryan going towards the right. Handled by LaSalle. Darted off the shaft of the stick of Paff, and now down the ice. Here's Marshall Merck. Merck, saved by Scott Riedel. Punched away by the senior Scott Riedel. Uhlenbrock trying to battle with Merck. Merck comes away with it and trying to find Rayner in the slot. It's deflected away by the Trojan captain. Now Uhlenbrock off of Rayner. Bouncing back, here's Merck. Merck sends it by right. Now on the other side with 13:37 to go in the second, 6-1 LaSalle. Here's Merck behind the curling target. Sends it wide left in the shot. Some bodies towards the right. Had a nice look, but just hooked it a little wide of the reach of Riedel. Now for Jack McGuirk. Stopped at the point. Push forward. Zach Eulenbrock. The two tango on the blue line. Here's Eulenbrock. Eulenbrock golfs it, looks for Paff. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey with 13-13 to go in the second. And LaSalle leading Troy 6-1. The Lancers now 2 of 3 from the power play and a whistle. And icing the call against Troy.
I will say that what we mentioned at the end of the period about the Trojans not protecting their goaltender, in that last sequence down on this end, they did. It was Troy's Austin Strong was very aggressive at keeping Nolan Rayner of LaSalle from being able to make a play on a tip or anything right in front of the net. He was very aggressive at keeping him away from trying to get a tip on any centering passes.
2 minutes gone from the second. Shots on goal, by the way, favored LaSalle 14-6 at the end of the first period. Garrett Paff retrieves it to south of the Blue Jackets logo, working the right wing, shoots it down low. It's scooped by Forrest Adams, the brother of Skylar Adams. Most of these LaSalle Lancers, if you remember them from last year, they were part of Clisham's Cincinnati Swords team. But the Swords did not field that team, so it was a big tryout for the high school level teams, and whoever didn't make it, they got a chance here. They're learning hockey from Murray Holland and Adam Fagan, the head coach and assistant coach of LaSalle. In fact, there is a Wyoming Cowboy amongst the LaSalle Lancer hockey players, and Luke Ernie, a state champion, as the Cowboys, the only Cinday team to win the state champion in football. That is through the legs of Riedel, and I think I heard a whistle. That went right underneath the legs of Riedel, went down on it, and the puck still comes through towards the end boards with 12:27 to go in the second. 6-1 Lancers. Matthew Miller takes it. Garrett Paff on the other side. Dropped in the right face-off circle. Now finding Ernie. Trying to rotate it around. That shot stopped by Caden Mathis. Now around the left corner. Clisham comes with it. Shot is measured nicely over the Trojans cursive. That's Scott Riedel with the stop. I think he's got the Punisher skull on the back of his helmet and also the classic Trojan star logo, which has been with Troy Athletics for, I'd like to say, it's as old as time, but I actually don't have an answer for that for you. That's the main logo the Trojans wear. On the Trojan hockey helmets, however, they have a Trojan head on them, which I don't think is seen much on Troy Athletics stuff. Sent towards, that's off the post. That was Zachary Dyer with a good look. Ernie now left corner, around as Ernie, Miller, now Dyer, back to Ernie, left wing off of Zach Eulenbrock, and the captain's going to the races. Eulenbrock curving towards the left, one-on-one with Engstrom. Slipping by the defenseman, lost the handle, and Dyer kicks it back. It's picked up by Grant Garrity at the left point and knocked down with the right hand of Luke Ernie. Great size on Ernie, the center for the state champion Cowboys, by the way, that football team. Undefeated. There's a bump in the left corner. Now scooped up. Wyoming, by the way, does not have ice hockey. It's not a lot of schools in Cincinnati and Dayton that do. All four of the GCL South schools do. LaSalle, Moeller, St. Elder. Moeller, the only one that participates in the Capital Hockey Conference in Cincy. Dyer trying to sweep it around. The rest in Cincinnati are the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League. Rotated just wide of Forrest Adams. That was Jack McGuirk with that touch. Collision in the right corner. Pushed forward by Connor Sexton. It's Engstrom going back for it. And freed away from Sexton. Here's Clisham bouncing it. Now looking for Miller. One-on-one, and Grant Garrity swoops in. 10:50 to go in the second. 6-1 in favor of LaSalle. No goals in the second frame thus far. LaSalle took the first period point by outscoring the Trojans, and that's icing on Troy and heading back in front of Riedel. And here comes a line change in for Troy. 5 new Trojans rolling to the ice. Marshall Merck will stay in, preparing for this face-off. We'll also have Rayner back out there with another wingman in Adam Wiley. Rayner goes on the left side now. It's Grimm and Holland on the defensive line. Garrett Paff back out to take the face-off in the absence of Ian Kuntz. Like I mentioned, Paff did a very nice job this morning. Not easy skates to fill when you have an alternate captain or a captain that normally takes the face-offs and you're filling in for him. That takes a lot of guts to do. But of course, for the players aspect, you're thinking it's what the team needs to do. So there you go. We'll have a whistle, and it's a Troy penalty on the way as Lombardo has the last touch, and it's slashing the call. Have not a lot of slashing calls. A lot of holding, a lot of tripping, not a lot of slashing, and that's going to be on Austin Strong. And La Salle has their 4th power play of the game with 10:17 to go in the second. And the Lancers up by 5 at 6-1 La Salle. By the way, the goal scored in that first period. You have a shorthander unassisted for Connor Sexton. As Strong's in the box for a slash. You have Holland as shorthander to get the goal scoring. Zachary Dyer, Nathan Scharf, Matthew Miller, Luke Ernie have all scored goals. Lancers without the services of Fletcher Pollitt, and he will be suspended 2 games, meaning that's the end of the tournament for him. Well, Pollitt was trying to protect his team, and Wiley said that he knew he fell down and it was leg that wouldn't twist. It was a lot scarier, but Wiley is back out there. He's the right winger at the moment. And now back on the attack. Knocked down. That is Merck, and Merck is holding his knee, and Merck is down on the ice, and the whistles will blow with 9:39 to go in the second and 1:23 to go on the power play. La Salle 6 and Troy 1, and the trainers are quickly out there. These are the trainers for La Salle. Very quick on the ice. You have to have a very nice talent as a sports physician or a sports trainer, athletic trainer, I guess is the actual term. But do a nice job, and that looks to be a knee, possibly a leg for Merck.
If he hit his knee up against another player skating by him, or what happened, I don't know.
That's a painful simulation there. As Merck's being helped out by Ernie and Miller, and Merck is putting 0 pressure on that left skate. He's being helped off the bench. We certainly hope we haven't seen the last of Marshall Merck. 9:39 to go in the second here as La Salle leads Troy 6-1. Our 5th game this Saturday, as we'll have Beaver Creek and Indian Hill up next at 8:40. And then we should have a running tally of points. And who's playing what time tomorrow. 10:10, 11:50, and 5 o'clock. That's the game times here in Springfield, Ohio's NTPRD Chiller. Knocked down towards the right. It's a nice feed for Miller, who's knocked down. Delayed penalty on Mike McGuirk and Troy. Scooped up by the Lancers. Drop back is a shot. Riedel save. Bouncing in front. I thought it hit off Jack McGuirk. La Salle continues to battle as Waite going for it through the legs of Jack McGuirk. And a whistle. And 9:15 to go in the second. We'll have a tripping call. That's Mike McGuirk to the box. And La Salle has a little 5-on-3 fun coming to them. 58 seconds of 5-on-3 action as it's a 6-1 La Salle lead. No goals in this frame thus far. And we will drop it to the right of Scott Riedel. Luke Ernie comes in. He'll take the face off. Opposite of Zach Eulenbrock. Tripping on Mike McGuirk, and the 2 referees will have a little talk. The off-ice side. The penalties seem to be swapped as now Strong's penalty back up. And we'll have a little 5-on-3 time for 53 seconds. Strong still in the box. And now Jack McGuirk battling with Luke Ernie and Matthew Miller. Miller comes up with it. Left point time for Alex Ryan. Going for Dyer. Dyer blasts it. That goes wide of Scott Riedel. Bouncing puck. Here's Alex Ryan on the left wing. Ryan now towards the right. Finding Zachary Dyer. Dyer straight ahead. That's off the glass. Now 2 Lancers emerge in the left corner. Drop back for Clisham from Miller. Here's a drop for Dyer. And Dyer sent it wide right as Scott Riedel closed up that side of the net quite nicely. 18 seconds to go in the 5-on-3 for La Salle as the Lancers lead 6-1. No goals in this frame thus far, and it's golfed away by Zach Eulenbrock. Forrest Adams will let the puck come to him via the force or bounce off the end boards, whichever you like to prefer. And the 5-on-3 is done. Pass towards Dyer, left wing. Here comes Austin Strong. Dyer trying to swoop around Jack McGuirk. The two will go battle in the end boards. 8:12 to play in the second. 6-1 LaSalle. Miller with a blast off Zach Eulenbrock. Puck goes on the other side. It's a one-on-one battle, and Ernie gets their second. And Troy sweeps it around the bends for Zach Eulenbrock. Eulenbrock twists and turns it around. Hits the high shelf of the glass, but not the protective net. That's the most important part. And Jack McGuirk will be subbed out. Now for Garrett Paff. 7:47 to go in the second. LaSalle 6, Troy 1. Behind the back of Strong, loose puck. Here comes Miller. He lost the handle. Delayed penalty. And it's going to be a LaSalle penalty. And it's going to be interference to call on Miller. He knocked down the defender. At least I think it's Miller. And that's going to be us a 4-on-4 opportunity. As the Stripes now talk it over. Grant Garrity skating back towards the Trojans bench. The referee talks to Matthew Miller. Two will talk about it, but I think that's what the call is going to be. Interference. I think Miller's trying to argue that he was in a space, therefore it's not interference. At least I think. 25 seconds left on the Mike McGuirk infraction. And in goes Captain Matthew Miller. 7:39 to go in the second. We'll skate 5-on-5 for a little bit. And then we'll have ourselves a Trojan power play here at the Springfield Chiller, the home of the 2019 inaugural pod tournament, the Post-Ohio District Tournament. It symbolizes the last hockey weekend for 16. And next weekend is the Final Four, and then state champions will be crowned March the 9th. That's Sunday. That's hard to believe. It's hard to believe hockey is already wrapping up. Now here's Scharf, 4-on-4 hockey for 21 seconds as LaSalle leads 6-1. 7.5 to go in the middle frame. We'll have an ice cut in the second intermission. Off the stomach of Engstrom, trying to turn it around, looking for Finn V. V will now curve it over towards the right. Now for Scharf. Poked away by Garrity. Garrity giving chase, but nice cleanup job by LaSalle. Paff keeps it in Troy's attacking zone, and here comes a power play as Mike McGuirk to the bench. Spinning out is Connor Sexton. He'll be the fifth Trojan, and chasing the puck carry. Here's a golfing clear, turned in by the Lancers. Here's a shot. Great save and a great dive by Scott Riedel. Unreal. Nathan Scharf fist bumps Scott Riedel. Scharf can't believe that that Riedel made that save. That's a golden star there. If you didn't appreciate that save, I don't think you appreciate hockey. But that's my take.
Yeah, the rough couple of days that Riedel's had, it's great to see him get such a great save and then get a congratulatory fist bump from the opposition on that.
I see the smile on Scharf too. That was nice. Now picked up by Garrity, works the left wing. It's a 4-on-3 back that way for Troy with 1:12 to go on the power play. It's interference on Matthew Miller. LaSalle going to golf. That's off the backside of Merck, who is back on the ice. A-OK. That's a fantastic sign. Merck looking towards the left. And Merck is hammered into the boards, and Merck is down on the ice. We'll have a whistle as Merck will be checked out again. This time Merck on his belly on that check. Trainers quickly back out. Merck, that was his first shift since that injury. Now Merck's being checked out again.
Wow.
That is a tough break for 88. Six to 1 LaSalle, 6:33 to go in the second. No goals in the second period. All 7 have been scored in that first frame. LaSalle took the first period point. Troy thus far has yet to earn a point in this tournament as the Trojans have been outscored. And now 7 periods as Merck is being helped back to the bench. That is one tough kid. You have to be a tough player to be in hockey, but Merck, that's an extra degree of tough. First shift since being helped off the ice and then hit into the boards. As both teams use this time to talk, I think head coach Murray Holland would like an explanation why that's not a penalty against Marshall Merck. Or not against Marshall Merck, I should say, but the checker against Marshall Merck. That's a better explanation of that. While we're waiting for the Stripes to talk, and the other referee blowing the whistle saying, let's go, let's play. See lots of red. That's the shared color between LaSalle and Troy. On the hockey jerseys, LaSalle's got the brighter shade of red, and Troy's got the darker, almost fire engine red type of shade. Traveling reds for Troy, and LaSalle in the home whites. 54 seconds to go on the Matthew Miller interference. 6:33 to go in the second. Beaver Creek versus Indian Hill is up next, and Kent Jacobs has the call. That is off the stick of Collisham over the LaSalle bench. And we'll go back in the neutral zone for a faceoff. 6:27 to go in the second as LaSalle leads Troy 6-1. And from what I heard from head coach Greg Gutterman, the Beaver Creek Beavers, the Beavers need at least a win to play Alter in the championship game. Alter finished with 2.5 points in the 1-1 draw with the Beavers. Now down this way, the Trojan defense back on top of it. Here's Austin Strong, covering around now for Carson Waite. Waite pushing forward, incoming is Grimm. Bouncing in the right corner, swooped up, it's Luke Ernie. And settled down in the neutral zone by the Austin Strong of the Trojans. 10 seconds left in the power play before Matthew Miller can come back out and play. Sexton chips it up ahead. Sexton, the lone Trojan goal scorer. Here's Eulenbrock. And there's a save by Forrest Adams. Save with the leg pads for Forrest Adams. And we'll drop it in front with 5:41 to go in the second. And LaSalle up 6-1. Face-off will be to the left of Forrest Adams. 2 seconds left in the power play for Troy. Or Matthew Miller can come back out of the sin bin. We'll have Eulenbrock take this face-off for the Trojans. Dropping it back towards the point, looking for Mike McGuirk, and the power play's done. We'll skate 5-on-5, and Miller stays out. Swept away from Forrest Adams as Miller going back for it, checking Mike McGuirk into the glass. And here's Miller working the left wing. Here comes Mike McGuirk. Miller breaks free. Left face-off circle. Swept away in the slot. 5:20 to go in the second. Still 6-1 LaSalle. No goals in this frame. Ernie trying to push it away. Now here's Eulenbrock. Good cane towards it. It's a one-on-one with Ernie breathing down the captain's neck. A shot is measured by the LaSalle word mark in the jerseys by Forrest Adams. 5:08 to go in the second period. It is a 6-1 LaSalle Lancers lead. No goals in this frame, but both teams have had their fair share of looks. Scott Riedel in net for Troy, opposite of LaSalle's Forrest Adams. Face off to the left as Ernie rotates it around and drops it for an incoming Lancer. Lancers rolling to a 5-goal lead with 5 to play in the second here. And the NTPRD Chiller. Round one Trojan defender. The two will battle behind the cage, and now it's scooped up by Mathis. Going for Paff up ahead. It slips away, and now here's Alex Ryan. Ryan drops it to the neutral zone where Paff recovers it. Paff on the left wing. One-on-one with Dyer. Right in front. Here's Miller recovering it. Back for the LaSalle defense. 4.5 to play in the second. 6-1 in favor of the Lancers, and a whistle and offside against Troy. 6-1 Lancers, your score over the Trojans here, as both teams playing their third game of the 2019 Pod Tournament here at the Springfield Chiller. The tournament focuses on creating as many 1-2 goal games as possible. It hasn't worked out like that, but still it's a weekend for the players to bid the sport goodbye and possibly their high school careers in the sport of hockey. Here comes Rayner, a shot off the backside of Strong with 4:15 to work in the second. And 6-1 LaSalle. Wiley closing in, It's Alex Ryan, right point, off the legs of Wiley. A one-on-one battle is Strong coming up for it. Other side for Rayner, spun around by Carson Waite. And now here's another pairing of Trojans and Lancers towards that corner. 3:56 to play in the second. 6-1 LaSalle. Here comes Troy, working that left wing. That's Caden Lombardo to the bench. Goes Lombardo, out goes Jack McGuirk. Puck now towards Forrest Adams, sliding down for it. And LaSalle takes a loose puck away from Jack McGuirk. And now two Trojans. Drop pass looking for an incoming Dyer. Dyer up ahead, onside, and bumped away by Austin Strong. Jack McGuirk sweeps it, bumped away by Dyer, pushed around by Connor Sexton on the right wing, kept in by Luke Ernie. Make that Alex Ryan. Alex Ryan also dons a alternate captain's A. And Troy scores with 3:19 to go in the second. It bounces off Forrest Adams. And it's a 6-2 LaSalle lead as Troy gets the first goal of the second period. Great goal for Troy there, Kent.
Yeah, well, they were able to take advantage of the rush down at the other end. They haven't been able to put too much offense together against the LaSalle defense, but they took advantage of the breakaway there right there.
Eulenbrock, center ice face-off, lifted forward, and it's picked up by Garrett Engstrom. Engstrom curving over, also another alternate A wearer for Murray Holland's Army of Lancers. 3:06 to play in the second. Troy with a lone goal thus far. If the score stays like this, at least on the home side, that will be a Troy point. And that is the captain, Zach Eulenbrock, ringing the bell for the Trojans, with Connor Sexton helping out. 2 points for Sexton this game, and the rebound goes awry of Riedel. Scooped up now by Scharf. Picked up. Here's Engstrom, one-timer. Not enough mustard on that opportunity. Mike McGuirk going around. Scooped by Sexton around Engstrom. And scooped up by Finn V. A nice heads-up read by the speedy defender. Looking for Skylar Adams, right wing. Picked up by V again. In front of Sexton. Against Sexton, 1 goal, 1 assist in this contest. As LaSalle leads 6-2. 1 goal scored in this frame. It's Troy's. 4-goal deficit for the Trojans in the darker shade of red. And pushing forward, LaSalle, loose puck. Mike McGuirk trying to bump off. Here's Skylar Adams, backhander, stopped by Riedel. And back at you, that hits off a Trojan. That was Caherl. Back to Caherl, one-timer off the side of the net. 2:02 to go in the second. Battle towards the right corner is Skylar Adams. As Riedel trying to drop on it, sliding towards the right. Left face-off circle, and that's off the protective net. Stopping the clock at 1:52 to go in the second. I think the hockey players down there must have realized that this play-by-play broadcaster needs to catch his breath. A quick drop, 1:52 to go in the second, 6-2, Lancers. Path and Miller battling for this face-off. Mathis works the left wing now behind Strong. Here's Miller, scoop back. Here's Grimm on target, off the glove of Riedel. Unable to turn around was Clisham. It's behind Clisham's back. Now Strong for Waite and Path. 1:39 to go in the second, 6-2 for LaSalle, and down this way, here comes Troy. It's Lombardo. His pass broken up by Eric Holland, bouncing in front. Holland had the first goal of the game, a shorthander. We've seen 2 of those in this contest. 1:23 to go in the second. LaSalle 6 and Troy 2. 1 goal in each period for the Trojans. 6 in the first for LaSalle. Spun around as the Trojans look to escort the puck. Here's Path. That's wide, but it's pocketed by Forrest Adams with the lean towards the left and in the glove. 1:10 to go in the second. It is 6-2 LaSalle over Troy. If you look at the bench, the farthest Lancer in the white jersey, I believe that's the Lancer jerseys from last year. It's an old school LaSalle jersey. LaSalle's program has been around since 2004, if I remember right. And winning the gold division, that's tips, so no icing. Winning the gold division, very big deal. Not only reaching the championship game, but winning the thing. And that's a shot, gloved by Scott Riedel. Matthew Miller had the blast in the left face-off circle with 55.2 seconds to go in the second. Lancers lead the Troy Trojans 6-2. with a brand new 5 out there for the Trojans out of Troy, Ohio, a beautiful city, home of Hobart Arena. The first rink opened up in the Dayton area, the Miami Valley. It was opened in 1950, and it's been open ever since. Although the first event was not hockey, it was a basketball game. I think Troy won by 2 against Kettering Fairmont. Right in front of Riedel, and Clisham cannot redirect it home. Picked up by Jack McGuirk, looking for Garrity. Here comes LaSalle, cutting in front of the defense. Here's Ernie now, 36 seconds left in the second, 6-2 LaSalle. Dyer, round to the left faceoff circle. Dyer trying to break his stick free. Puck now for Garrity. Ernie and Engstrom will have the beat on it. Ernie now playing on the defensive line as Dyer's up top. 18 seconds left to go in the second. Still 6-2 LaSalle. Troy gets one off of Riedel. Settled down and back at Dyer. Rebound. That's wide. 7 seconds left. Here's Ernie swinging around the body of the Trojans. Mike McGuirk. Last second. A takedown by the right corner and flip towards the corner. That's 30. That's 30 minutes in the books, and the Troy Trojans pick up their first point in the pod tournament by outscoring the Lancers 1-0 in the frame. But the score remains 6-2 in favor of LaSalle. There's 3 points up for grabs in that third period, 2 from a win and 1 for another period. Great game thus far.
Well, I'll tell you, after the first period, when it was 6 goals for LaSalle, I mentioned that Trojans had to try to play stiffer defense. They had to get more stout in front of their own net, and they did exactly that in the second period. They're maintaining a presence in front of their own net. They're being physical. They're putting bodies between offensive players and their own goaltender, and the result is they don't give up any goals in the second period. They're being disruptive. They're not letting the Lancers make plays. They're forechecking, they're back-checking, and they're protecting their goaltender in front, and it's made all the difference here in this second period.
LaSalle had 11 shots on goal in that second frame. Troy 6, meaning the total at this point is 25-12 Lancers. We'll take a break and come back for period number 3 on the YouTube home of the Academy Hockey Club. It is LaSalle Lancers 6, Troy Trojans 2 here from the NT PRD Chiller in Springfield, Ohio. Stay with us. It is a 6-2 La Salle lead. Troy picks up their first point of the tournament by outscoring the Lancers 1-0 in the second. And La Salle picks up the first period point by outscoring the Trojans 6-1 as the Beavers back up here warming up, preparing for the game against the Indian Hill JV Rangers. Just had a look through the rules and the points. Beaver Creek and Indian Hill have 7 going into their game tonight. If Beaver Creek ties, the Beavers play the championship game because of the record. Beavers would be 1-0-2, and Indian Hill would be 1-1-1. No losses for the Beavers, and I believe that put Beaver Creek in. As Miller tries to score on Scott Riedel, Lancers heading back up the ice, and Troy marching downwards. La Salle currently with 2.5 points, counting the period. Delayed penalty on the way. It's La Salle heading to the box. Picked up now by Caden Lombardo, right corner. Lombardo working in the whistle, and the penalty is tripping. And Troy will be going on a power play on a La Salle trip. To the box goes Zachary Dyer. 6-2 for La Salle over the Trojans with 14:24 remaining in regulation. So right now, Troy will be playing that morning game as the Trojans have 1 point. And even if the Trojans pick up the third period point and the win, that would be a total of 4 points. And right now, that would be good enough for 5th place. There's a Salle, 3 points on the table. They have 1. There'd be a 4-point swing if they can take this third game. Both teams looking for their first win in the pod tournament. Speeding ahead, it's picked up by Ryan from Matthew Miller. Around the bend it goes. And in the box went Dyer for tripping. We have 1:29 to go on the power play and 13:50 to go in the third. It's 6-2 La Salle. Your score, just 1 goal in that second frame. It was Troy's, namely Zach Eulenbrock's. Here's a send in, caught up top. Scott Riedel from Garrett Engstrom's attempt. La Salle looking to add the game's third shorthander goal with 13:39 to go in the third. Troy is on the power play for next minute 15. So Troy will have the 10-10 game. La Salle, I think, is also in that boat as well because of the fact the Lancers came in with 1.5 and right now have 1. That's 2.5, a 3 on the table. That'd be 5. And that would be 5.5 points. And Indian Hill and Creek have 7. So it's Troy La Salle, the first game at 10-10. And we'll determine the rest. Alter will be playing in the championship game as the Knights have 12.5 points. And one team can leap Alter, not both. So if Beaver Creek or Beaver Creek or Indian Hill get a clean sweep of points, that's 13. And that would be Alter. So Alter is going in the championship game. Beaver Creek and Indian Hill play next. Kent Jacobs has the call. 25 seconds left on the power play. I think I've explained it well enough. Makes sense in my head, at least. Dayton has 7 points after 3 games. A nice 2-1 record for the Stealth. A really nice comeback win in that third game. 9 seconds left as Scott Riedel with a stop. Rolling on forward. Here come the Trojans in red. 12:27 remains in regulation. Now for Engstrom, they pick away, and the power play ends as La Salle did a nice job keeping the attacking half despite being down 1 skater. 12:15 to go in the third, and we have a 6-2 La Salle lead. 3 points are on the table as Engstrom, he'll score! Garrett Engstrom scores! And La Salle has their first goal since the first period, and it's 7-2 Lancers, 12:07 to go in the third. Engstrom rings the back of the nylons, and the Lancers are outscoring the Trojans 1-0 here in this third period. Still lots of hockey to go through. That is big for La Salle. 5-goal lead again for the Lancers as it's dropped, and it's past the body of Rayner. Controlled again by the Trojans. 3:03 gone from the third here on the Academy Hockey Club YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us here. home of the 2019 Post-Ohio District Tournament. Down this way, here comes Holland with a send-in looking for Adam Wiley. Unassisted goal for Garrett Engstrom. That's an unassisted goal for Garrett Engstrom. 11:35 to go in the third. Bouncing past the back of Eulenbrock, and here's Adam Wiley taking the loose luggage and towards the La Salle bench. Wiley now up ahead. A bounce up ahead looking for Blank. Blank knocks down his defender and Connor Sexton. Now picked up in the right face-off circle as Troy looks to send it down the ice for Zach Eulenbrock. It's out of the captain's reach. And now back for Holland. Holland looking towards the right. Golfs it towards the left. Blank trying to reach for it. That would have been a high stick if he touched it. Grimm. Now back for the Trojans. 10:57 to go in the third. 7-2 La Salle. Shots on goal favor La Salle after two at 25-12. Now down this way. Both teams playing their third game of the tournament as we prepare for Championship Sunday. The last three games of the pod tournament. That's golfed high and off the protective net. We had a puck. It was during warm-ups. I think it was during warm-ups. It might have been a game. But we had a puck that went inside the insulators up top. The insulation even up top. I don't think it ever came down. Didn't know you could do that. Luke Ernie take the face-off for La Salle. I believe that's Garrett Paff on the other side. Here's Alex Ryan. Sweep to the left. In a 7-2 Lancer game. 10.5 to play. Here is V to Ernie. Bumping off the shoulders of Caden Lombardo. Ernie turns it around. Here's Matthew Miller giving it a go. And that just trickles away from the open goal mouth of Scott Riedel. Riedel focused more towards the right. Ready for that shot. And now here is Klisham. Pushed forward by Carson Waite. Knocked down from behind. Back up on the skates. Here's Ryan. Back to the neutral zone. Out of the reach of Miller. And it will find Austin Strong instead. We have played 5:05 of this third period. 7-2 La Salle. Lancers are outscoring the Trojans 1-0 in this frame. Now behind the cage is Scott Riedel. Indian Hill will be the away team in the next contest. They had a 2-0 lead heading into the third against the Stealth JV squad. But Dayton came back with 3 goals, one with 12 seconds left to take the win. Probably one of the most exciting finishes I've seen in a while. There's a blast going wide by Caden Mathis. Put a lot of heat on that puck. Controlled now by Paff. Working forward. Klisham bumps it back and knocked forward by Jack McGuirk. Right point pickup. Here's La Salle. It's Klisham and back forward. Matthew Miller rolling forward. Here comes Miller. Bumped hard into the glass. And the puck is loose. Picked up by Troy as we played nearly 6 minutes. We'll have a tangling towards the Christmas tree corner. And we'll have a delayed penalty on Troy for a trip. And Forrest Adams got it to the face-off circle before the whistles were blown. And the referee's going to put a Trojan in the sin bin with 8:55 to go in the third period. Hard to believe the first annual pod tournament is almost up. Carson Waite goes in the box. And it's tripping the call on Waite. The Trojans back on the PK with 8:55 to go in the third. La Salle scored 2 power play goals. Actually, 3 power play goals. You can give another one to Matthew Miller. Face off to the right of Scott Riedel. Towards the left corner. Scooped up now by Mike McGuirk. At the left point, here's Dyer with the feed. Bouncing towards Riedel. It's down loose. It's still live, and it goes awry of the net. Now recovered by Dyer. Dyer sending it on target. Kicked away by Troy. He'll get out of the neutral zone and head towards the corner as the Lancers offense has to recoup. Now for Dyer. Behind the cage of Forrest Adams. Dyer attacking on the left. Away from Eulenbrock, but picked up by Jack McGuirk behind the red line. And he'll golf it back towards that left corner. And La Salle's offense going back for the retrieval again. Garrett Engstrom. Opposite. Now it's Skylar Adams. Here's Dyer pulling it out from behind the cage. 1:14 to go in this power play. Turnover. Zach Eulenbrock had it. Golfed off the glass. Makes a nice crackling sound. That's Grant Garrity. Back to Garrett Engstrom. Engstrom with a goal today. 1:02 to go in the power play. LaSalle 7, Troy 2. 7:52 to go in regulation. There are no overtimes until we reach Championship Sunday. Down low, puck, score! A power play goal taking 109, and LaSalle now leads 8-2 with 7:46 to go in the third. Power play goal for LaSalle, and leading that Selly line is Philip Caherl. 6-goal lead for LaSalle. We're heading towards the closing moments of this contest. Rayner versus Path for this face-off. Up goes the 8th goal on the scoreboard. One scoreboard at the Springfield Chiller, and it's facing us here in the second-story mezzanine. I think it's a fair play model. Now around the right corner it goes. Lancers now up 8-2. Trojans in the attacking zone is Path. Now Lombardo giving chase. There's a couple collisions. Now on the other side, LaSalle up 8-2, 7:40, make it 7:21 to go in the third. Shot from the right point does not get to the goalie, and that goal is scored by Philip Caherl. And you can give the 444 line 2 assists. That is a power play goal for Philip Caherl, and icing call on Troy. That's Zachary Dyer and Garrett Engstrom with the assists. And we'll come back to the left of Forrest Adams with Rayner opposite Garrett Path. Path checks in over the hash marks right in front of the curling target, which has picked up popularity in the Dayton area. Kettering Rec has a couple of those targets. Springfield Chiller has them. Don't know if South Metro plans to have curling targets up or not. Be kind of neat. Now move forward. Path spun down. Outreach is strong. Now Wiley trying to pick it up on the right wing. Again, power play goal with 1:09 gone was Philip Caherl from Zachary Dyer and Garrett Engstrom. The 444 line coming together for 2 assists on Caherl's goal. 8-2 LaSalle your score with 6:37 to play in the third period. We have one more game in the preliminary round. It's Beaver Creek Indian Hill, and that's to determine who's playing at 11:50, who's playing at 5 o'clock. For the championship. Holland darting and back for Wiley. Wiley working the right wing. Wiley on the attack towards the slot. Wiley in the left face-off circle. Here comes a hip check. That's up top, and Riedel has it in the glove. 6:12 to play in the third. LaSalle 8 and Troy 2. Face-offs over to the left of Scott Riedel. Here at the NTPRD Chiller, short for National Trail Parks and Recreation Department. That's the group of folks that run the Chiller, and the Chiller is the business organization of running the rinks around Central Ohio and Springfield. There might not be the hockey history that you hear in Dayton, but it's still part of the Miami Valley, and it's also the birthplace of the Springfield Blue Jackets. 6 to play in the third, 8-2 Lancers. Here's a shot, saved by Riedel, and recovered again by LaSalle. 2 goals in this frame for the Lancers. The first 2 goals since that first period where the Lancers lit the lamp 6 times. Up around the cage as Riedel goes for it, down low. Riedel on the loose puck. Back for the Trojans defense. Jack McGuirk opposite of Michael Klisham. Down this way, it's going to be an icing call against Troy. And back in front of Riedel will go with 5:34 remaining in the third period. Again, we'll have all the contests here in the Academy Hockey Club YouTube channel. We hope you enjoy the broadcast. It's an honor to get a chance to broadcast the premier edition of the Post-Ohio District Tournament. It's focused on giving these hockey players a fun and competitive way to conclude their hockey seasons. There have been a couple of blowouts in this tournament. I know the motive is very pure, and Ernie trying to tip one in. That goes wide right. Troy trying to drop it out. Here comes V at the right point, spun around, and now here comes Troy. A 2-on-1. Here's Zach Eulenbrock, and he'll light the lamp for his second goal in the game. It's the captain, Zach Eulenbrock. It was a 2-on-1 in the middle of the ice, and he'll zip it in past the left flank of Forrest Adams. 5:06 remaining in the third, and it's 8-3 LaSalle. Zach Eulenbrock with 2 Trojan goals. It's 8-3 LaSalle. I think it said 8-2. I beg your pardon, but it's 8-3 as Eulenbrock does have 2 Trojan goals. And now push forward. Here comes Dyer. Dyer right face-off circle. Dyer to the slot. Ran into and score! Dyer ran into his defender and dropped it on home. And that is a goal for Dyer. 9-3 now. 4:53 to go in the third. That was 9 seconds from the Trojan goal and the LaSalle strike. And by the way, that's not the first time that's happened today. It happened earlier in the first period. Troy got the first goal. Shorthander Connor Sexton unassisted, and LaSalle answered right back shortly thereafter. That is Dyer unassisted for the 9th goal. Actually, I think that's the 8th goal. I beg your pardon. And down the ice, the Trojans give chase. It's Mike McGuirk. Eulenbrock's goal is unassisted. The second one is. And also Zachary Dyer scores. And that's unassisted as well, as it was taken to the house. And Dyer knocked down his defender. Here comes Lombardo working the right wing. Engstrom blocking him off quite well, but back to Sexton. Make that Lombardo, excuse me. And LaSalle down this way, now up by 6 with 4:21 to go in the third. 9-3 Lancers is your score. To the house goes Dyer. He cannot score for a hat trick. And a couple hat trick scores in our first day of action. Luke Dinkins had one earlier today, but that's been it. Riedel, loose puck. And the glove is off the left hand. And Riedel with the stop. We'll have a roughing call tacked on with 4:03 to go in the third. As LaSalle leads Troy 9-3. In the box goes Strong. That's a roughing call. LaSalle might have another one join the sin bin party. Dyer's back in. It's coincidental roughing minors, excuse me. That would be interesting. Coincidental minors. I don't think there is such a thing as coincidental majors. You get a major penalty, you're serving 5. There's no coincidental about it. 4:03 to go in the third. 9-3 LaSalle. Ernie back for the face-off. Will stay 5-on-5 since those were coincidental minors. It's pushed through. Here's Sexton with the back to the goalie of Forrest Adams. Dropped down south of the logo. Picked up by Eulenbrock. Eulenbrock drops it back. Controlled by the Trojan defense. Closing in the final buzzer here. 3:43 to play. No icing will be called. A 1-on-1 battle as Ryan takes on Eulenbrock. Eulenbrock, the last 2 Troy goals. Sexton had the first. And unable to get it to Jack McGuirk on the other side of Forrest Adams. Now here's Garrity. And the one-timer goes awry of Zach Eulenbrock. Loose puck, Forrest Adams will jump on top of it. It's Connor Sexton trying to get there. 3:24 to go in the third. It's a 9-3 LaSalle lead over Troy. We'll have Ernie versus Eulenbrock for this faceoff. He'll drop on the dot as Eulenbrock over the curling target. There's no purpose in that in hockey, the curling targets, but do have a nice pop of color. Down low, right leg stop, Forrest Adams. We'll drop it to the left of the LaSalle goalie as the Lancers up by 6, 9-3 over Troy with 3:19 to go. I believe Troy and LaSalle will battle each other 10-10. Troy with 1 point in that second period. LaSalle looking for 4. The 4 points would give LaSalle 5.5, and that will not leapfrog Dayton nor Beaver Creek or Indian Hill. So it will be LaSalle-Troy at 10-10 again. Off the shoulders of Clisham. Dropped down and offside went Grant Garrity. We'll go in the neutral zone. And slashing has just been called with 3:01 to go in the third. I think Garrity might be going to the box. And LaSalle has himself A 5-on-4 power play with 3:01 to go in the third. Lancers 9, Trojans 3. And this is the battle of the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League. Also, the furthest trip in the Swashel. I mentioned there's several teams in Cincinnati, and Troy is the northmost team. Hobart Arena, my favorite rink. And City of Troy has taken a very nice care job on that arena. Like I mentioned, it opened in 1950, but you can't really tell it.
Yeah, that's a nice place. I haven't seen a game there, but I've been in there and seen the rink. It's a very nice arena.
It's very nice for hockey. Not a bad seat in that house. Left wing time for La Salle. The Lancers call Sports Plus home, which used to be a Hills department store on US Route 42 back in the day. Now around towards La Salle. Flipped on Riedel. Riedel, right leg stop, and it's in front. And now we have a couple bodies colliding, and looks like that's it. We've had some fireworks in this tournament. We've had 2 players disqualified for throwing punches, which is a lot more than I see during the regular season. We really don't see a lot of fighting, but maybe it's March Madness. I'm sorry, the madness of the month. Can't say March Madness is copyrighted. Here's wide shot from Troy. Make it from La Salle, I should say. La Salle in their attacking zone. Here's Engstrom. Engstrom trying to send it on target off the backside of a Lancer forward. And back this way comes defender in Alex Ryan for Engstrom. Dropping it in front, looking for Miller. 2:10 to go in the third, 1:09 to go on the penalty on Grant Garrity. It was for Slash. Now for Clisham. Clisham bounces one. It goes wide. Behind the cage now, swoop forward, Clisham. Here's Engstrom. Nice leg work there. And Riedel, nice slide. It will come back to Engstrom. Almost like a pinball that way. See how fast it went. Another big collision. The booms are starting to sound louder. As now here comes Miller. One-on-one. Circling around. Some open ice for the La Salle captain. Sends it. Riedel save. And the whistle has been blown. The referee thought that Riedel made the catch. 1:35 to go in the third. 9-3 La Salle. That's not a complaint on the refs. Like I mentioned yesterday, I think I said the Eastern League. That's not right. That's a AA league. There's an independent league around the East Coast that are using robotic umpires for strike zones. I don't see that working well, but we'll see. 1.5 to go in the third. 9-3 La Salle. Left point time. It's stripped away from Grimm. Moving forward. Here come the Lancers defense. It's Holland, blue line, skip, and Troy whiffs it away. Still 19 seconds to go in the power play. Delayed offside on La Salle, and we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. As the Lancers up by 6. 3 goals in this frame for La Salle, 2 for Troy. And if Troy gets another one, then that's the third period point split. 3 points are on the table, 2 for the win and 1 for the third period. Again, not necessarily what's on the scoreboard, how many you scored in the period. Grimm from Holland, working the left side. Power play set to expire. Troy trying to push it forward. Wiley gets it around, but Troy drops it in the corner. And the power play is done as we have our final minute of regulation here from the Chiller in Springfield. It'll be La Salle 9 and Troy 3. Battling right wing out of the reach of the hands of Benjamin Grimm. It's off of Grimm's fingertips, therefore no icing. Grimm will play it around, looking for Wiley on the other side. Grimm takes it himself. Here's a bump by Grant Garrity. Trojans back with the puck, trailing by 6. 35 seconds left, and Rayner taking charge and bumped away. Delayed penalty on Austin Strong. And I think Strong's going back in the box for slashing. 29.2 seconds to go in the third as La Salle leads Troy 9-3, and that's Jack McGuirk to the box. Jack McGuirk goes in the box, not Austin Strong. I apologize. As it's a 9-3 Lancer advantage. They'll drop it in front of Scott Riedel. Interference on Captain Jack McGuirk. And we'll drop it to the right of Riedel. In comes Cahurl. Met up with Zach Eulenbrock. Two will tango over the hash marks and drop it towards the corner where Dyer has it, left point. Dyer blasts one. It's off of Riedel going behind the cage. 20 seconds left. Troy trying to scoop it forward. Nice push job by Dyer and the better bouncing job by Troy to clear it away. Adams is just going to tap it right to the puck carrier. Now for Adams from Finn V. And a blast. Stop Forrest Adams. Rebound. 3 seconds left. Back for Path. Path swings it. Looks for Eulenbrock. And that's the game. Your final score, the LaSalle Lancers 9 and the Troy Trojans 3. That's a goal in each period for the Trojans. Zach Eulenbrock scores 2 of the 3 Trojan tallies. And you can give LaSalle a total of 4 points in that contest. And LaSalle finishes the 3 preliminary games, 5.5 points. Troy picks up 1 point. The Trojans finish with 1 point and an 0-3 record. LaSalle goes to 1-2. And now 1 place remaining, as it will be LaSalle and Troy at 10-10 for the first game tomorrow. Since LaSalle picked up 5.5 points and they cannot leapfrog Dayton nor Beaver Creek or Indian Hill, which are playing next. And whoever picks up the most points in the next game is going to take on Alter for the championship. Kent, great game on the ice.
Yeah, it's despite the lopsided score, a very, very physical game. A lot of hard hitting. The one thing the Troy Trojans can take is look at that second period where they won the period 1-0 or 2-0.
1-0, yes.
1-0. And just winning that period, and Coach Phil Knoll can speak to his players and try to emphasize that they were competitive in that period, and they showed that they can play with these teams, and try to come out tomorrow and try to take a win. As far as LaSalle, a hard-fought game, high scoring for them. They have several big players that can come out and really put the puck in the net. So they've had a couple of close games in this tournament, but they've played well for the most part, and should be an exciting game between these teams tomorrow.
Shots on goal finished 36-16 LaSalle, 11-4 in that third frame. Again, 9-3, Lancers win over the Troy Trojans. And up next, it's Kent Jacobs with the play-by-play of Beaver Creek versus Indian Hill. Both teams are already on the ice. And we'll step aside here on the YouTube home of the Academy Hockey Club. And we'll talk to you again.